Carola, one of the things that came up after Liberation Day was tremendous amount of fear about
Mhm.
the U.S. economy and whether we'd be burdened by inflation.
Right.
And 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 I'm curious for coming out of that experience, why were kind of the most apocalyptic predictions wrong, and what does that tell us about the current situation going forward?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, as you mentioned, policy uncertainty is extremely high right now. There's a measure of economic policy uncertainty by Baker, Bloom, and Davis, and around Liberation Day, it spiked to an all-time high. Since then, it's fallen, but now it's rising again, close to those COVID levels. Policy uncertainty in general acts as it reduces aggregate demand. So that actually has a tendency to be deflationary or disinflationary, while which goes in the opposite effect of the adverse supply consequences of the tariffs, which tend to be inflationary. So kind of on net, those inflationary impacts were relatively modest. What might happen right now, though, we're seeing inflation expectations that they're going to rise so much because of the Iran situation and the higher oil and gas prices. And so it's going to make it really hard for monetary policymakers to know what to do about these tariffs. That usually the best monetary policy response is kind of to look through supply shocks like tariffs. But if they're concerned about inflation expectations becoming unanchored, then they might have to respond by raising interest rates, which would have pretty bad consequences for the real economy. They didn't have to do that yet, but now we have this combination of the tariffs and the gas prices. So I imagine that's going to become more of a problem.